you so much for joining. Today I show you 4 types of returns, 2 historical ones and 2 future/expected ones. For each historical we have one arithmetic version and one geometric version, and the same for our future version, arithmetic and geometric. Let's get started. First one, historical mean return. This is arithmetic mean return, simple average. We are looking at the past. It's the average past returns, assuming each return has equal weight. The formula R bar equals 1 over n times the sum from EI equals 1 to n of R sub I. Use cases, it's for analyzing historical performance if those returns are independent. They're not connected, they're not compounding. Yeah, if we use this arithmetic simple average, it does not account for compounding. We assume those returns do not impact each other. What do we mean by this? Let's look back. 4 years past returns, 10, 5, -3 and 8%. If we assume they're not impacting each other, let's say every single year is closed and has no impact on the other year, when we talk about time, is many times not correct because over times they impact each other. But here, if we assume we can use the arithmetic formula, then our formula would be this. We would take every single return divided by the number of returns 4, and it would give us 5%. Meaning, in this case, the stock has returned 5% per year on average, but ignores compounding. Yeah, it's not ideal for long-term performance measurement because we are ignoring compounding. If we look at geometric mean, sometimes called CAGR, compounded annual growth rate, you know it from financial statements. Here we are also looking at historical performance, historical returns, but here those historical returns impact each other. We include compounding. It's more accurate for long-term past performance, and it actually accounts for so-called volatility drag. Fluctuations reduce real growth. Formula, as you can see here, R sub G equals the nth root of the product from I equals 1 to n of 1 plus R sub I minus 1. Bit more complicated, but still, if we look at the example, it's quite straightforward. Use cases here again, when measuring long-term performance, again, we are still looking at historical performance where compounding matters. It's more accurate than arithmetic mean for multi-period investments. If we use the same example as before, 10%, 5%, minus 3% and 8%, and we use this formula, here you can see 100%, we have a growth of 10 is 1.1, here we have a growth of 5 is 1.05, here we have a minus 3, which means we use 0.97 to the power of 1 over 4 minus 1 gives us 4.54. So you see the return is lower because the returns affect each other. That's why the geometric mean here is lower than the arithmetic mean here. Now, if we look at the future, then we are not concerned about historical returns. We are concerned about expected returns. And here again, we have 2 measurements. One is arithmetic and one is geometric. Arithmetic, again, probability weighted average of future returns. It does not account for compounding. Formula expected R equals the sum from I equals 1 to n of P sub I times R sub I. That's the formula. and it just gives you the weighted average of possible returns. As you can see here, especially used for scenario analysis, we have strong growth case, 30% probability, expected return 15, normal growth 50% probability 8%, and if there's a recession 20% probability -5. You can see they don't affect you, either have strong growth or you have recession. They are not impacting each other, which means using the geometric mean here would not be correct, because here we are not talking about a time horizon, we are just talking about different cases. What we are easily do, 30 times 15 plus 50% times 8 plus 20% times -5, which is what you see here, gives you 7.5%. And this is the average future return is 7.5 per year. Again, not suitable for long-term time scenarios where compounding matters. Then the last one, again, we are looking in the future. We're talking about an expected return, geometric future projection, and that incorporates compounding effect over multiple formulas. Formula, as you can see here, expected R sub G equals the product from I equals 1 to n of 1 plus R sub I raised to the power of P sub I minus 1. Use cases, as mentioned before, long-term future growth with compounding, especially when we look at time period 1, 2, 3, 4, and not at different scenarios. And again, long-term as accounts for volatility. The more volatile it is, the more your compounded annual growth rate will basically be reduced. If we use the same numbers, as said, we wouldn't use this scenarios, different cases to use this format, just to show you the numbers. If we used the same probabilities and returns, 15%, 8%, -5%, 15, 8, -5, and then here 30%, 50%, 20%, 30, 50, 20 is what we have here. -1, you would get 6.92%. You can see the numbers again, slightly lower than the arithmetic mean. So again, historical mean arithmetic we use for past performance if the returns are independent, or for short term, if you have only one period. We use geometric historical mean for past performance long term, and if the returns impact each other. Forward-looking expected return arithmetic, short term, one period, or just different scenarios, and expected returns geometric if it's a long-term future forecasting exercise. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you found this useful. See you in another video. Bye bye.